We will move on to our debate then. And that is, are America's responsibilities around the world exceptional? Ryan, you say yes, the world's peace and prosperity rest on American power. Roman, you say no, we cannot be the world's policeman. Opening statements, 3 minutes. You may begin. So, Ryan, peace and prosperity rest on American power. Opening statement, explain to me why you think that's true. 1 minute, go.
December 7th, 1941, I believe. Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. The next day, December 8th, the Congress declared war on Japan. And I believe that this was necessary because if we did not do anything about this, other nations that were allies with the Japanese would have come forward and say, oh, yeah, definitely gonna strike the weak, gonna definitely take them out. And then what? We're controlled by Nazis, and probably none of us would probably be here if it wasn't for that. And everywhere would be started to take over if we wouldn't have attacked, and cut it right there.
Okay. Ryan, you'll be old enough to run for president in 2040, so watch your calendar. Okay. Roman, we cannot be the world's policeman. Your counterpoint, or your opening statement, please.
Your opening statement leads all these people to believe that we joined World War II out of fear. It was almost an act of revenge. The main reason we got in it at that point was just because Japan attacked us for no reason. You're also saying that their allies would have joined in, which is another point that supports isolationism. If one of our allies were to go to war with someone else, why is it that we have to waste our lives and drain our economy and our military just to help them?
Okay, Roman, you might be running against him in 2040, so watch that too. Very good. Hey, I'm looking forward to that year. I would know both those guys. Okay, so let's do this. Your counterpoint, Ryan, to the world's peace and prosperity rest on American power. We found when we were in Iraq, and we took on that mission, that we had what was called mission creep. So the initial invasion was pretty successful, only 139 lives lost. That eventually turned into a very destructive counterinsurgency in which 4,000 Americans were killed. 4,000 in the unconventional war compared to 139 in the conventional war. That mission creep eventually went from defeating the enemy to essentially running the country, as we would any non-governmental organization, or in many cases we had American soldiers who were mayors of towns and were appointing city councils. We also went on to this violence eventually, when we withdrew from Iraq, spilled over into Syria. So, and then that might even spill over into Lebanon or into Turkey. So where does it end? Do we have to send American soldiers everywhere that there's any disorder? What is the limit to that? You have 1 minute.
Well, first of all, we should have never taken troops out of there. Yes, there might have been more deaths, but in war, there will always be death. It's like in football. There will always be a score, no matter what. And I believe that if we never would have took troops out of Iraq, we wouldn't have had to deal with all that spilling over. We would have had it right there and nipped it in the butt.
Your rebuttal to Ryan's statement. Roman, begin.
To keep any troops in any place other than America is just wasting troops. Our military should be to defend our own country, not to just monitor other countries. That's wasting our troops and wasting funding for those troops. So there's no need for that.
Okay, Roman, counterpoint. This week, the United States, when the president visited Vietnam, he took the occasion to lift a 40-year arms ban that we had against Vietnam. That is because you have argued that we can't be the world's policeman, but the Vietnamese actually requested that because they do not trust China. Now, China is a fellow Asian communist power. You would think they would be allies, and then the Vietnamese would like to have combined operations with us to patrol the South China Sea and other areas that they believe China is encroaching on their rights. So if our old adversary, Vietnam, thinks we're worthy of being allies, then why shouldn't we? I mean, isn't our influence in East Asia better than China's or Russia's? You have 1 minute to respond.
Once again, we don't have the troops or money to waste on such a endeavor, but what I think is that we shouldn't join in on these conflicts unless it threatens the world, like in my opponent's best argument, World War II. That had the potential to threaten the entire world, but we stepped in, prevented it. So, we can't join in on anyone who just calls for help, and we could be doing that all over the world. Everyone has their own enemies. Everyone needs an ally, but why should we be the ones who step in for everyone?
Ryan, your rebuttal.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So if we're trying to keep justice here in the United States, but it's something's towering over, something's falling over somewhere else, where does that end? Does it keep falling over? And then people want to leave where they are because of what's happening. And then they go into there. And then what? Leading to more overpopulation, more spending. You never know. Thank you.
Would you like an extra minute to respond to that, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bonus round then, Judge. We'll go on another bonus round with the presidency units, and this will be Roman delivering a statement. Okay, you have 1 minute.
Overpopulation's a threat in every country. It could go anywhere, could be anywhere. And chaos in one country, one location, that doesn't directly affect us. In the long term, yes, and it will affect everyone in the long term. But once again, why do we have to be the ones who save the rest of the world from their conflict? It's not, the war isn't going to come to us for no reason unless we had something to do with it, in which case we're involved already. Why waste American lives on someone else's conflict that doesn't even hurt America in the short term problems?
Okay, Ryan, you get the last word. 1 minute. Begin.
Okay, so going back to wanting to fight here, you would rather risk innocent civilians and our troops on top of that here on our home turf than rather go over there and risk even less. Like I said, death is going to happen in war, obviously. Thank you.